Hello Power fans, I'm Mathonical, and you're joining me for the fifth and final round of Bogles. Our opening hand is absolutely atrocious, so we're going to send it back. Our second hand of 7 is, well, it's pretty good. Looking through it, we're kind of just missing some land enchantments, but we do have at least one white source. We're going to be able to get the Scout online plus the Spider Umbra. Well, we could keep the Spider Umbra if we want to go for a full aggressive play, but I think keeping the Spider Umbra is a good option. That way we can go Spider Umbra plus Rancor the next turn. That looks pretty good. So yeah, we'll just send that back and play out our Scout. While we could hold the Vestige to get our white source, we're just going to play it right away. Just to get our double green, we're going to go for the Spider Umbra plus Rancor. And I'm not going to attack this turn because I don't want to get hit by a ninja right away. Now that they've played another creature and another creature, chances of us being able to block is gone down. If they want to get a ninja in, they would be able to. So we're just going to suit up our creature and swing in. We've got a 4-turn clock, and fairies, I don't know which variant it is at this point, but they will probably have a hard time dealing with this. Preordains, and the 4th Miscreant, but we drew a very nice card with the Ancestral Mask, and our opponent agrees by conceding. Now we get to jump on over to game number 2. We do not know which version of, I'm assuming it's going to be some version of Delver, but we don't know which one yet. I'm going to bring in the 2 Electrickeries and the Gut Shot, since that will hopefully be able to counter any of their Spellstutter sprites going after us. Dispel is an option, but I'm not going to bring it in just yet. We don't really know what we're fighting, so that's going to be about it. We're going to take out the Relic and 2 Rancors to make space for those 3 cards. Let's jump into game number 2. Our opening hand is reasonable, so we will keep this one. We would like some big payoffs, but this should be good enough. I'm going to go ahead and lead on one of our Bogles. We do not want to get it countered. This is a good opportunity to get it down. And we now found that we're against Izzet Delver. A little worried about a Spellstutter sprite here, so instead of playing the Ethereal Armor, I'm just going to go ahead and play both of these. Turns out they had an Electrickery, which is another good thing to play around when they've got 2 mana available. So I really want them to tap out before I play something. Because I drew an additional creature, I'm going to go ahead and play the Ledgewalker at this point. Still not going to suit it up when they've got counter magic and Electrickery magic up. Here, I'm going to go for an Armadillo Cloak, and only counterspell can deal with it, which they ended up having. And they've also got a Spellstutter sprite, which they'll get in for some damage. Surprised I didn't see any ninja there, and there's a Delver. So we're in a good spot to be able to play anything greater than 2 mana, so we are going to play the Heliod's Pilgrim and get ourselves set up with an Ancestral Mask that hopefully we can find some opportunity to play it. We do attack there, knowing they could cast Spellstutter Sprite, kind of goading them into it. Reason being, now they're tapped out, so we can now play a Scout plus Ethereal Armor, which hopefully will be a big enough threat to do some work. Hoping for no flip. Unfortunately, that doesn't work out for us, so now our opponent has a pretty good clock, and we're going to have to find some way to close out before they do. They're going to get in for 4 damage, which is to be expected, and now make that 5 because they've got the ninja. Here, we want to get our Ancestral Mask online, but they did find another counter spell. Now we're not in a great spot to be winning with the clock. Play the Bogle, attack with the Scout, and then they end up just lightning bolting our Heliod's Pilgrim. I am going to chump block here, just because I don't want them drawing additional cards to find more pressure. Unfortunately, we found nothing, and now that we've got the Delver, if we attack there, they're going to be able to swing in for 8 damage if it flips, and 6 if it doesn't, which is still like not a good spot. And we're not winning that race, so I'm going to hold back, hope the Delver doesn't flip. It does with counterspell, so we are guaranteed dead at this point. Go for the Ancestral Mask, maybe they'll counter it. No, they won't. We'll attack, they'll block, but at this point, we know we're dead. We'll just take it. Jumping to game 3, now we know we're against Izzet Delver, and because of that, we are going to bring in both Crimson Acolytes and take out the Ledgewalkers. This will give us better protection against Electrickeries and the like, and we're also going to bring in the 1 Dispel now, just because we know they have Electrickery, plus all the counter magic. We definitely want that effect as well. Gonna take out some of the Rancors. Let's jump into it. Our opening hand is pretty good. We're just kind of missing any kind of protection against Electrickery, but we should be able to, if we go Forest into Utopia Sprawl, turn 2 Bogle plus Ethereal Armor, we do get around that quite nicely, so let's do that. Our opponent plays Island into Fairy Miscreant, so we could have a ninja hitting us next turn, but we're just gonna suit up our creature. They play another Fairy Miscreant, so I'm just concerned about a null here, and given that, I'm just going to suit up our creature and go for some big damage to try and win as quickly as possible. And, well, apparently it's time for our Bogle to come home. I was not playing around the curfew there, although we didn't have the abilities to do so. So now we got to try and find an opportunity to resolve this Bogle, but they're holding up 2 mana, so I don't want to just play it into counter magic. That is an automatically losing proposition, because then they'd be able to hold up counter magic every other turn. We need to find a second Bogle ASAP. If we do, we can overload them by getting one countered, playing a second one, and just throwing an Ancestral Mask on it. In the meantime, we're going to get beat down, and they even played a Ninja of the Deep Hour, so they're drawing additional cards, and things are looking pretty gim. If we don't draw another Hexproof creature this turn, we lose, more or less. I decided not to play it there, just to try and think maybe we have one more turn. Since we have the Armadillo Cloak, we would have survived if we'd drawn one the next turn, but unfortunately our opponent had a Lightning Bolt, and we are dead. That does ruin our 5-0 dream. We're just 4-1, but overall I'm quite happy with how Hexproof has performed. I hope you've enjoyed the series so far, and stick around for the wrap-up and analysis right after this. I'll see you there.